What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Brown, and this is the ashsaiditshow. Over 1,900 episodes since 2014 and 500,000 streams around the world. None of this is possible without you guys, so I thank you so very, very much for that. Huge thanks for that. Now, today I've got a very important guest. I have author Miss Karon Warren and her book, 100 Things to Do in the North Georgia Mountains Before You Die. Hey, Karon.
Hey, how's it going, Ash?
It's going great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, enjoying the fact that the temperatures are finally starting to cool off around here.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Wasn't this a brutal summer? I was like, oh, my gosh.
It was really hot, yes.
It was crazy. It was crazy. All right, Karon. So, what is your story? Are you a Georgia girl? Have you been here most of your life, all your life? What's the story?
For most of my life, I moved to Georgia when I was 6 years old. I grew up in Marietta. So I have been here. I moved to the North Georgia Mountains when I got married 22 years ago. My husband is a native up here, so I moved into the area and have been exploring this state ever since.
Yes. I mean, people sleep on Georgia, I think, a lot of times, and they're like, oh my gosh, if it's not Atlanta, I don't really care. But Georgia has a lot of historical cities that have just mystical and just wonderful things to it. And so when I heard about your book, I was like, oh my gosh, she's celebrating all the things that I love about Georgia. So let's talk a little bit about the inspiration. What was the real pull for you to write this book?
So 100 Things to Do in the North Georgia Mountains Before You Die, it, to me, is what I call a travel inspiration guide to the region. There's really not a lot out there like it. You find a lot of books on like hiking and waterfalls for the region, but nothing like my book that encompasses restaurants and attractions and historical sites and music and all these different things that we have to offer. And in a lot of places throughout the area that people don't know of, people know the big cities of LJ and Blue Ridge and Helen and Dahlonega, but there's a lot more great towns to visit that have a lot to offer. And so I have been covering this area since I moved in 22 years ago and really wanted to share all those stories with people so they understand that there is just so much to see and do here and so many great people to meet.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, we're about to get into Halloween season, darling, All Hallows Eve. And there's a lot of activities up there in the North Georgia Mountains that people can, go and spectate and do the touristy thing. What are some of your favorite places to go visit this time of year?
Oh, so much stuff to do for fall and for Halloween. You just got to love it. So obviously here in LJ, the apple capital of Georgia, it's season, so all the orchards are open. People are coming to pick their apples. You've also can pick your own pumpkin over at Burt's Pumpkin Farm in Dawsonville. That's a fabulous place to go. And once you have your pumpkins, you can jump on the hay ride. A lot of fun is to go to Uncle Shuck's Corn Maze, also in Dawsonville. You can take the kids for a lot of fun during the daytime, but they also have a haunted corn maze in the evening, which is a lot of fun. And then also in Dahlonega, with Dahlonega walking tours, you can do a historic local ghost tour, which is a lot of fun. And then, of course, in Helen, they've got Oktoberfest going on. It's already started, and it'll go all the way through the end of October.
Yes, Oktoberfest. We were talking earlier, I haven't been to Helen yet. Helen, I hear, has just such an amazing feel and just it'll literally transform you into that whole Oktoberfest vibe is getting out there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's our own little alpine village here in North Georgia.
I agree with that. Now, what are some of your favorite foodie spots up there in North Georgia?
Oh, gosh, favorite foodie spots. Well, people always want to know about barbecue, and I'll be the first to tell you I'm not a complete barbecue connoisseur, but I do love to eat at the Pink Pig and Cherry Log. That is my go-to barbecue spot. Over in Helen, they have a couple of different places. If you want some good German food, go to Bodanese. I also like to eat at Cafe International there. It's right next to the Chattahoochee River in downtown Helen, so it's a great place to people watch. And then the Dillard House up in Dillard, Georgia. Oh, my goodness. That's your family-style country cooking. All you do is order your drink. They bring the rest to your table, and you eat until your heart's content. It is delicious.
Oh, wow. That sounds so good. Oh, my gosh. That sounds awesome. Amazing, amazing. All right. So let's, I know, because I'm thinking about the food. So I'm like, I had other questions, but I really want to get into the food. But no. So with this particular book project, would you say that you included the top tier places, destinations for the North Georgia mountains, or can we possibly expect a second book, maybe in another couple of months, years-ish?
There is the possibility of a second edition. We don't have a timeline for that yet.
Okay.
But to answer your earlier question, yes, you're going to find all your tried and true favorites, popular hotspots in this book. But I also try to add in quite a mix of hidden jewels, things that people are not aware of or haven't known about, that are equally wonderful to visit and check out. So we try to do a mix. We also try to do a mix for all ages. So if you're coming with young kids, if you're coming just with your girlfriends, if you're here for a couple's getaway, we wanted something for everyone of all ages, all interests.
Gotcha. And there was something else that I saw on some of the highlight list of things to do. What is leaf looking?
So leaf looking, people like to come up here and just drive around and look at the gorgeous fall foliage when all the colors change. Yeah. And so they are looking for places to see the most beautiful view of the reds and oranges and yellows of the leaves. And that may be during a scenic drive, or it may be a place where you can sit back with a glass of wine and take in the view. Or if you want to go hiking and see some beautiful leaves from that perspective. So we included some of those places too.
Gotcha. Now, a lot of people like to do the hiking thing. I'm just a little bit more cautious, Karon, just because I'm like, I don't want to disrupt anyone's habitat, anyone's home.
Right.
So as far as the hiking goes, are there any particular things that people need to look out for or make sure that they do before they go on a hike?
Well, first of all, always bring you some bug spray, because the bugs don't seem to stop ever. Okay. And then it doesn't hurt to have some bear spray, because we've encroached on their habitat and because of the way the temperatures are changing nowadays where we have warmer winters, the bears may not hibernate as long. So it's a good idea to have some bear spray with you when you're out hiking. The biggest thing to do is just don't disturb the wildlife. Please don't try to pet bears. Yeah. Please don't try to take selfies with animals. These are wild animals. They're not your tame pet. And they will not respond well to you and, trying to engage them on their turf. So just be aware of that. And for those people who don't want to disturb the habitat of animals, there's some good hikes you can do where you won't do that. Like, for instance, at Amicalola Falls State Park, their hiking trail up to the falls and all that it's not out in the woods per se. You're in a wooded area, but you're not going to disturb wildlife hiking up to.
Yeah. And there was one thing that I really kind of discovered this a few years ago, I'm also a wedding officiant, so I do ceremonies pretty much all over the state. And so I had a couple that wanted to do one at a park, and I want to say it was not necessarily North Georgia, it was more maybe like northwest-ish. And there was a waterfall, and it was a gorgeous waterfall. It was a perfect backdrop for their wedding. And I know that there are a few sites up in North Georgia that people can be looking for if they go and decide to do the touristy thing and check it out.
Yeah, there's just so many. You do have, so in addition to Amicalola Falls, there's also Anna Ruby Falls, which is just north of Helen. But you'll find plenty of places to go hiking. Up in Blue Ridge, a lot of people like to go out to the Toccoa River Bridge, which is it's very easy to get to by car, and then you park and you walk over to the bridge. It's just so beautiful over there. Again, that's another easy hike that you don't have to spend a lot of time getting to. So there's just a lot of great places to go. I recommend people, especially, there's just so many trails, but if you go to georgiastateparks.org and then put hiking in their search box, then they'll give you a lot of great recommendations throughout the region.
Okay. Cool. And last but certainly not least, would you say that this is just a really good guide for anyone who wants to possibly travel in the North Georgia mountains? Because I'm sure like a lot of people are like, okay, yeah, we know about Atlanta, Atlanta's everything, but there's a lot more to Georgia than just Atlanta. We love Atlanta, but there's so much more to explore and visit. So would you say that this book is definitely welcoming to any newcomer or anyone who possibly wants to explore?
Yes, it's perfect. And not just for newcomers, even people in Atlanta, they kind of think of North Georgia mountains as certain destinations, but there's so much more. And the book is divided into 5 categories. So you've got food and drink, music and entertainment, sports and recreation, culture and history, and shopping and fashion. So regardless of what your interest is, you'll find something right up your alley to plan your day around when you come to visit.
Yes, I love that. Karon, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you.
Yes, I'm so glad to be here.
Let everyone know the best way to get the book and to follow you guys.
Like I said, the best way to get the book is you can find it at local area Barnes & Noble stores. Mm-hmm. You can also find it on all your favorite online retailers. And if you go to Facebook and search the title, 100 Things to Do in North Georgia Mountains Before You Die, you'll find the book page, and you can order direct from me on there as well. And if you do that, then you'll get a personally signed copy by me.
Ooh. Perfection. I love that. Karon, it's been such a pleasure. I appreciate you so much for coming through today. You know you got to come back. Okay, you're my fellow Georgia girl.
Absolutely.
So I got to get you back because I know that there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Matter of fact, you've got some things going on later on this month into November, correct?
I do. So toward the end of the month, beginning of November, I'll be over in Cartersville. So on October 28th, I'm going to be at the West Fest at the Booth Western Art Museum in Cartersville. Mm-hmm. And then the following weekend in Cartersville, I'll be at the Savoy Automobile Museum. Both of those are included in their book. They're awesome museums. And I'll be at both of those places doing book signings each of those days.
All right. Sounds like a busy schedule, Karon. I know you're up for it.
It is. Yep.
I love it. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face. You tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.